Uh, Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Morino Ravenberg here. You'll have to excuse me again if my voice is a bit scruffy again. It's because it's morning in my location and I just woke up, let's just say about half an hour ago. In any case, at the request of someone that follows me and my work and overall, and that commented on my YouTube channel, you know who you are. She requested that I do a video on the do's and don'ts in terms of communicating with spirits or dealing with spirits. You know, things that you shouldn't do to take because it might piss them off or tick them off, and so on. I told her that I'd do it maybe, and yes, obviously I've made my decision. So yeah, here goes. This video is going to be about two topics. I think it's not just going to be about the do's and don'ts regarding dealing with spirits or engagement with spirits. It's also going to be about proper burial etiquette because the idea came to me. In any case, let's get down to the first topic that I mentioned, the do's and don'ts in terms of dealing with spirits, or you can also call it proper spirit etiquette, or yeah, just proper spirit etiquette, dealing with spirits. Um, Things that you shouldn't do in terms of communicating with spirits or when you deal with spirits, engage with spirits. First off, when trying to summon them or when trying to communicate with them, don't, try to summon them coercefully or forcefully. Point one, point two, don't threaten them in the sense of, hey, if you don't appear, I will do what this magical workbook or grimoire says and make you suffer and make you feel pain by putting this in fire or something similar. A lot of grimoires have that, you know. The Goetia is a prime example. No, 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 no. You could see it this way, okay? It's literally like trying to take someone hostage. Who would be sympathetic towards a hostage taker? The only person that would be sympathetic towards a hostage taker would be someone that suffers severely from Stockholm syndrome. Okay, so assuming that you're a normal human being that doesn't have some kind of death wish or some kind of martyr complex, or just doesn't like, or just does not want to have some kind of incessant need to be victimized, then obviously if you find yourself in a bank and people try to take you hostage and hold a gun to your head in order for ransom and all of that, you're going to try to screw those bank robbers over any chance you get by shooting them in the head or something similar. It's the same thing with spirits, okay? The way that to approach someone that anyone will be kind and fond of is politely and in a not I wouldn't say in a bashful or a humble sense. I wouldn't say approach someone with humility, okay, but approach someone with the necessary level of politeness and just decency, you know, overall. And in a spirit's case, again, you need that spirit. You need that spirit more than that spirit needs you. That spirit doesn't really need you, to put it that way. So again, that's why I said you don't have to be humble, but approach a spirit in a normal frame and in a normal manner, and just make an inquiry or a request. Okay, do not demand anything unless the only exception to this case is if these spirits are demonic slaves and lower level astral spirits, but generally speaking, if we're talking about normal spirits, we're talking about spirits that we work with as magicians, either celestial spirits, elemental spirits, infernal spirits, not in order of power, of course, pagan spirits, just spirits that generally speaking have a good deal of power and a moderate, at the very least, a moderate level of standing in the global astral community, if you will. Then again, just approach them with the necessary level of respect. Again, just be polite. Don't do what traditional grimoires state. I think I've already mentioned that once or twice in the past, okay? So no forcing or coercing a spirit to come. Okay, I command you to come now, otherwise I'll hold this over this flame and you'll burn and you'll feel fire and flames and you'll hurt and you're just pissing someone off that way. Okay, I have had people, friends and acquaintances tell me in the past that sorcerers that tried that, these entities literally try to attack that sorcerer by trying to break open a magic circle or anything like that. It's the same deal, okay? I would also do the same thing. If I were a spirit and you were to summon me, by forceful means like that, I just think to myself, you make one false move, you piece of crap, and I will kill you right where you stand. That's also why, that's also why you need, again, the Goetia as an example, that's also why you need protection via magic circle and all of that. If you summon them in a normal, respectful way that I do, you won't need any of that. I'm not saying that there aren't any harmful spirits out there. Yeah, you've got a bunch of aggressive spirits. The Gueric spirit Andras comes to mind. Granted, I've never worked with Andras, but Andras is Andras is not an asshole to the point where he'll kill everybody, everyone and everything. To the point where he'll want to kill everything and everyone in sight. No, it doesn't work like that. Okay, again, respect given is respect taken in such a context. So something like that is normal. Okay, if you just approach spirit in a normal way, okay, as in, hey, I would like to work with you, I have a business proposition, or otherwise I would like to become friends, the same way that normal people approach each other. If you go to the store, if you go to any kind of institution that offers services, you just make a normal inquiry. Good day, I would like to know if something like this is available, and if so, how much the cost is, and so on. That is called normal business etiquette. Okay, it's the same thing when dealing with spirits. If you'd like to become friends with someone, the first thing you're going to do is, hi, how are you doing? I noticed that you like this and so on. Can you tell me something about this? And you'll start talking. It's the same deal with spirits, even if you're not wanting to do business, but that's rare. Okay, if you're not wanting to do business, if you just want to become friends with the spirits, in the rare cases, it's rare but not necessarily odd, then it's the same deal. Okay, level of engagement is the same, or the manner of engagement is the same. This, when it comes to proper etiquette like this, it doesn't just apply to human beings or beings in the material plane. It applies basically across the entire universal spectrum and any entity that you want to communicate with. But again, simple rule here is coerce or force someone and treat someone badly, and you can, especially with spirits, you can expect you can expect so much punishment and so much pain and misery. Spirits also gossip, okay? Gossip, but they also let's just say at the very least, they also maintain contact with one another. So make no mistake, if you treat a spirit badly once or twice, you're gonna have a big problem, because they also tell each other, hey, this. It's like kind of having a criminal record, okay, a rap sheet, okay. You have a bad reputation among spirits for not living up to your agreement here and there, and spirits will either be reluctant because they've heard that you did something like that, or otherwise. So again, they also talk amongst each other, okay? Communication is also exchanged. So if you treat spirits badly, then you're going to get to, after once or twice, after one or two times, you can bet that no spirit will want to work with you, okay? Or spirits will be very reluctant to work with you and skeptical, because they'll basically have a reaction in the sense of, you screwed that one over, I've heard of you, you screwed that one over, and okay, I'll help you this once, but I'm keeping an eye on you. If I do not get what I'm due, then you've got a huge problem on your hands, and then we're done. Don't ever summon me again. That's what I mean. Let's see, what else is there in terms that you shouldn't do in terms of dealing with spirits. That's pretty much it. There's not a lot, okay? Again, it just applies to daily life. I'm assuming that nobody's watching this is bluntly put an asshole, or is an incredibly unfriendly individual, to the point where you just engage with people to the point where no one wants to have anything to do with you because you're mean and unfriendly and all of that. And it's the same thing with spirits, okay? You don't have to, you definitely don't have to seek spirits out for friendship or anything like that. It's all about business primarily, okay? It's no different for me. I, honestly speaking, and spirits know that about me, I generally speaking don't care about a spirit's background. Okay, all of that can come later on once once I'm more experienced, and most of them prefer it that way too. Okay, it's the same deal when meeting someone. Once you get to know someone, then it will just happen normally in a fluid way. Once the more you engage with that person, the more you get to know about that person. But it's inappropriate, to say the least, that when you meet someone first, that you ask 20,000 questions. Where do you live? Are you married? It's literally like you're being like that person is being interrogated, and but that person might just snap at you and go like, "What is this? An interrogation? Is this a police interrogation? Are you the police? Seriously, did I commit a crime?" That's what I'm talking about. I just deal with spirits in a normal way, a normal in a normal way. It was business first, and the spirits that I've worked with over the time that I've worked with them, either summoning them multiple times for customers or just working with them by default, then I have gotten to know them over that period of time, and some of them have told me things, the things that I share with you guys in my videos, my followers, and just people watching overall. I share this stuff with you guys because they just told me out of themselves. I didn't have to ask them. Their officers, for example, hey, I had this rank, I had that rank. They just told me that out of themselves. I didn't really ask them. Okay, only in rare instances have I asked. Only in rare, very few instances have I asked spirits to, what specifically the deal is pertaining their officers and what their rank was and all of that. But as for those of you that follow me, know that I'm all about results. For those of you that don't, well, I'm all about results, 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 and results. Okay. It doesn't mean anything. Your entire practice, all of the work, all of it is pretty much meaningless without any desired result whatsoever. Then you're just doing everything for nothing. Okay, and the rest just comes information and background on a spirit. What a spirit's backstory is comes in second place for me. And that is pretty much it regarding proper spirit etiquette, how to deal with spirits properly. Yeah, there's nothing else that comes to mind. So I'm going to hop on over to the second, I'm going to switch over to the second topic, which is proper burial etiquette. That topic is going to be short, there's not a lot to say, okay? It's just something that I wanted to share with people. Things that a lot of people across the globe already know, and the people that know it primarily know it because it's been passed on to from their elders, from the previous generation to the current one. But just for people, in case people didn't know, it's basically an FYI for your information. When someone dies, right, or something dies, it doesn't matter. When it doesn't matter what it is, okay. Don't bury it in your backyard or don't bury it on your yard, period. Okay, if you have a house or a property, a piece of land that you live on, okay, even if it's just a domesticated animal or like a dog or a cat, a pet, or let alone yourself or a family member, never ever ever bury that person or that pet of yours on your yard. Okay, it is that's improper burial etiquette, and the reason that I say that is because what's going to happen, for example, if you had a dead aunt or dead uncle, if you bury that person on your yard, that person will stay on your yard. Astrally speaking, that person will continue to will continue to linger around your yard at least for a very good while, okay? And you don't want that. Why? Because your yard, it's about symbolism. Your yard is your property, right? And it's like burying someone in your home. And the problem that you're going to have, okay, that is that person will linger around your house, and you will see that person, okay? That person, even if you're not into the occult or anything like that, you're just a mundane person, you're going to notice things at the very least, okay, that will immediately hint at that person's presence, and it can come off as annoying, okay? It's similar to a mosquito buzzing around your head. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but that's pretty much what it can be like. It's going to be annoying because that person will do things, for example, like replace things, or just, if that person lived with you, that person will continue to linger, especially around in his room. That if you go to sleep, for example, in that person's or where that person's bed used to be, you might get pushed off the bed. Those are all very realistic and very likely scenarios. That's why this is something that old people know. They know through trial and error, and again, as the saying goes, shame is the best teacher, or experience is the best teacher. So don't do stuff like that, okay? It's a basic no-no, okay, for elderly people or people that simply are from the previous generation, okay, the generation that was born in either the 50s or the 60s or the 80s at the very least. Even I know that. I was born in 1985, but this is general knowledge to me. No one ever taught me this, but I simply knew it by logical thinking, as in, hey, never bury a dog and never bury a cat, let alone a person, in your own yard, because what's going to happen, even if you had a dog, for example, if you bury that dog on your yard, I can guarantee you will not be able, I can near guarantee you will not be able to have any other pets, any other dogs, because that dead dog is going to kill every dog that you have, okay? It doesn't matter. He's going to kill every dog that you have out of jealousy, because if you bury him on your yard, he feels encapsulated. He feels like he is in, like he hasn't left yet, like he's not dead yet. It's kind of like a Sixth Sense, the movie The Sixth Sense kind of moment, okay? They either don't realize that they're dead, or they simply refuse to acknowledge that they're dead, okay? This applies to the case in general, but it's very rare. But if you do something like bury something on your yard or someone on your yard, it's also going to be the deal, and they'll simply just not want to leave. It's that simple, okay? The fact that you buried their physical bodies on your yard is kind of like a beacon to them, and it just makes them want to linger around. It's not like they can't leave. I mean, they can leave, but again, they're more prone to lingering around, okay? And like I just said, pets are a prime example. If you have a dead dog, a dead cat, you name it, you will not be able to have any other pets, okay? Any other dogs or anything like that. If it's a cat, then you won't be able to keep any other cats. I'm guaranteeing you that almost every other cat that you have or dog will die shortly. You bring that dog home, that dog will be dead in 2 weeks or something. This is just the case because, again, that dead dog or dead cat will kill every other pet you have, okay, of the same species primarily, out of sheer jealousy, because because in the afterlife, in his or her astral form, or its astral form, that pet has the power to do so, okay? And it's the same deal as if you were to have multiple pets and they just fight with each other because they don't know each other. In the astral realm, they have the power to kill material beings or beings from the material plane, and they'll do so because they can. So that's also called improper burial etiquette. Things that also that you obviously should not do are things like urinate or defecate upon any kind of burial ground whatsoever, or dance on any grave. There's a horror movie called I Spit on Your Grave, or or I dance or you're gay for something like that. That's another example. No, but again, this is a no-brainer. Okay, you should never do something like that. It's literally like urinating and defecating and just either passing urine or stool in someone's house. Never. Okay. And also don't do anything of such a nature. Don't soil any place that an entire generation or group of people might have lived on. That only increases the likelihood of you being haunted or you being punished. I've read enough stories, okay, in my location even, about people that did that because they didn't know, and they got a stern warning. Simple example is that I read a story about a true story about a local security guard that worked for an aluminum company, and he had to defecate, but the toilet was closed because the groundsman left with the key. A result was that he simply couldn't contain himself anymore. Okay, he had to relieve himself, and he just went to do his business on an open patch of land. And it was when he did so that he felt someone choking him. Shortly afterwards, he felt someone choking him and telling him, "Okay, clean your mess up, otherwise we're going to kill you." And he did so. And it was only a couple of months after that he had the balls to mention it to a colleague of his. And that colleague told him that place that you went to defecate, that open patch of land, used to be a slave plantation back in colonial times. That's another example, okay? That's just to drive the point home. But again, these are basic things that you just definitely should not do. That is improper burial etiquette. Okay, don't bury any dead pets in your yard or on your yard. Okay, that's why there are cemeteries. Cemeteries are neutral ground. They're public ground. Okay, it's literally the same thing as not doing anything on anyone else's yard. That person is going to ask you, "What the hell is wrong with you? This is my property." And it's the same thing. Okay, let alone do something as bury a family member on your yard or anything like that. Okay, I can near guarantee you that you'll have issues with that person, and then you'll have to talk to that person and to literally in his or her astral form, and just make it clear to that person or even to that pet. Okay, in the sense of you'll have to explain to them extensively that, "Hey, listen, okay, I might have buried you here for whatever reason you might have had, or whatever reason I might have had. Okay, but that doesn't mean that you should linger around here." You'll literally have to hammer it into their astral minds so that they realize, okay, point one, I'm dead. Point two, he doesn't want me here. Okay, because I am being a nuisance or a bother, and it just goes on. It's a lot easier to just bury someone or something on public terrain, like a cemetery, an appropriate public terrain. But again, don't do that, period. Okay, don't bury someone on your yard or a pet or anything on your yard. Okay, I wouldn't even suggest burying a pet hamster or anything like that on a yard. No. Okay, that might sound a bit far-fetched, a hamster haunting you. The idea makes me giggle, but inwardly. But again, it's called improper burial etiquette. Okay, just don't do stuff like that, period. And I also need to state that again, if someone's cremated and if you have that person's ashes in an urn, in your home above the fireplace or something like that, then again, there's nothing wrong with that. That person was cremated and his or her ashes are simply, I don't know, they're there for semi-decorative purposes or remembrance purposes in the home. But that doesn't mean that you're automatically going to get haunted. There is a chance of that happening, but by that person. But generally speaking, based on my knowledge and experience, keeping someone's ashes is neutral. But burying someone's physical body is something different entirely. Okay, altogether, and it's going to cause nothing but problems for you and your household. Because that dead person or thing or that pet is going to throw your household into disarray, because that person either has no, for aforementioned reason, that person has no idea that he or she is dead and so on, or something similar. uh, yeah, so that is it in summation or to summarize. Don't bury anyone in your yard, don't bury pets in your yard or anything similar. Have someone or something buried on neutral ground or neutral terrain like a cemetery, any place where that is appropriate to do. That is point one. Point two, don't desecrate any burial ground by, for example, soiling it, like urinating on it or defecating on it or anything similar. Even something like throwing garbage excessively is, again, it might sound a bit far-fetched, but it's not, okay? Throwing garbage excessively on a certain ground that might have been sacred once or anything like that is a big no-no, okay? It's that, all of that is shortly summarized is improper burial etiquette, and now you know. That is it. Bye.